Shalom, 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 yasha'Allah. This your boy, Brother Shamwa Allah, back at you with another quick edifying video. Today's lesson is going to be called Labor for Your Penny. Labor for your penny. All right. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say Halal, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahawah, and His only begotten Son's name, who you ignorantly call Jesus, whose name is Yahawashi. All right, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Rawchaa, Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who have ruled well through the Spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days, and has pushed this gospel and this truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom. Another mighty shalom to all you Akim out there laboring on the highways and on the hedges and on the unicorn, which is this internet, pushing this 100% doctrine, this 100% truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom to you all as well. Like I said, today's lesson is going to be called Labor for Your Penny. All right, labor for your penny. All right, and we're all out here, striving to, to earn that penny, man. To earn those treasures from heaven. All right, the book of Matthew 6 tells you. Matthew chapter 6 and verse 19, it says, "Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doeth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal, but lay up for your treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doeth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." Okay? So understanding that, we should be laboring, for our penny, right? And this is a parable that Yahawashi used. All right. This is Matthew chapter 20 and verse 1. It says, "For the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard. And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day," it says, "he sent them into his vineyard." All right. And let's look up real quick this word. I think it's denario. A penny. All right.
Strong's G 1220. Denarion.
Denarion. All right. It says containing 10. It says a Roman silver coin in the New Testament. It took its name from it being equal to 10 asses. It says a number after 217 BC increases. It was a principal silver coin of the Roman Empire. From the parable of the laborers in the vineyard, it says it would seem that a denarius was the ordinary pay for a day's wages. Okay, so it's a day's wages. All right, and we each day we are, working, for our day's wage. Okay, and we're working for what? That treasure, for that treasure and that silver, of the heavens. All right. So let's get back to it. It says, "And he went out about the third hour and saw others standing idle in the marketplace, and said unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right I will give you. And they went their way. Again he sent out about the 6th and 9th hour, and did likewise. And about the 11th hour he went out and found others standing idle, and saith unto them, Why stand ye here idle all the day?" Right? And this is kind of going into, how, brothers and, those of, they're going to continue to come in even up to the last moment. All right? They're going to come up and even to the last moment of this thing. All right? And put their work in. But we're all working for that same day's wage. Okay. So it says, and about the 11th hour he went out and found others standing idle, and say unto them, why stand ye here all the day idle? They say unto him, because no man have hired us. He saith unto them, go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right, that shall ye receive. So when even was come, the Lord of the vineyard saith unto his steward, call the laborers and give them their hire, beginning from the last unto the first. And when they came that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny, right, or a day's wage. It says, but when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more, and they likewise received every man a penny. And when they had received it, it says, they murmured against the goodman of the house, saying, these last, these last have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden and the heat of the day. But he answered unto them and said, friend, I do thee no wrong. Didst not thou agree with me for a penny, right, a day's wage? Take that thine is, and go thy way, and I will give unto this last even as unto thee. Is it not lawful for me to do what I will with my own? Is thine eye evil because I am good? So the last shall be first, and the first shall be last. For many be called, but few are chosen. All right, and the labor is plenteous. All right, but the laborers are few. All right, there's few chosen, man. All right, and we're all trying to make this daily wage, man. All right, and it's important to go out there and to do the work daily. All right, do the work daily. Okay, what is that? It's 2 Thessalonians. Let's see if I can get that. 3 and verse number 10. It says, for even, this is 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 10, it says, for even when we were with you, this we commanded you, that if any would not work, neither should he eat. Okay? How can you work if you don't, how are you going to eat? You haven't labored, man. We know that the scriptures say that my servant shall eat, and ye shall be hungry. Let me see. What is that? Isaiah 65, right? Isaiah 65, and what is it? 13. It says, therefore thus saith Yahawah, Bahasham, Rawchaa, the Most High Power, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. All right. And ultimately, what is a servant? A servant does work. A servant does work. All right. If you're not doing this work, how do you expect to eat? All right. How do you expect to drink? All right. And you haven't labored. You haven't put in any work. All right. And this is the case where we're laboring. All right. For our daily wage, man. All right. And you have to put this in a spiritual context, man. All right, we're out here laboring for that treasure in heaven. Okay, Yahawashi told us that we must work the works while it is day. All right, John chapter 9 and verse number 4. It says, I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work, man. All right. So understanding that the time is coming where you're not going to be able to labor and put this work in. We're soon to be approaching that time. All right. We see the different things. You got, YouTube trying to send AI to try to monitor people's pages and these different things. So we know, hey, the famine of the word, we know all this stuff is coming. Martial law is coming. All right. So things are getting ready to be shut down. All right. And this is the time to be laboring. All right. It says, I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work, man. How are you expected to eat, right, if you didn't work, man? Right? How are you going to, be thirsty and you didn't finish the work? Okay, this is why it's important to continue to push this work and continue to do the work daily. Okay? And continue to get your daily wage. All right. What is that? Matthew, Salakia. Matter of fact, let's go to Luke 8. Let's go to verse number 16. Okay. This is Luke chapter 8, verse 16. It says, no man, when he had lighted a candle, covered it with a vessel. All right. And, Yahawashi said, let your light so shine. All right. It says, no man, when he have lighted a candle, covered it with a vessel, or putteth it under a bed, but setteth it on a candlestick, that they which enter it, Salakia, they which enter in may see the light. Okay? You gotta let your light shine. All right? And one of the ways of doing that is what? Doing the work, man. Right? Bearing those fruits. All right? Doing these lessons. All right? Feeding and edifying the sheep. Yahawashi told Peter to feed his sheep. Okay? Do the work. All right? Labor for that penny, man. All right? You can't sit here and try to cover up, this light, man. This light is too bright to be trying to cover up and try to hide under a bed, man. I'll get to it when I want to get to it. No, man, right? You're right. You can't be at a job thinking that you're gonna get paid your whole salary and you're missing days of work. All right? Or you can't expect to get paid for the day and then it's found out you were you were somewhere in the corner of a building. I think I mentioned that in camp, man. You're somewhere in the corner of the building just chilling, man. On your phone, playing solitary or something. All right, while you supposed to be working, man. All right, put that labor in, put the work in, earn that penny, man. Labor to get that penny, okay? Because we're coming into a time where, hey, like Yahawashi said, man, the night cometh when no man can work, man. Work is going to be shut down, right? And how are you going to eat? How are you going to, if you haven't done any labors? All right, look at your time. Just think about the world, man. Plantation. To look at your stuff. Well, you didn't do anything. You had no productivity for the day. So how do we expect to pay you, right? How can you show that you've done the work? Okay. Let's get this. I'll probably close it up. I didn't want it just to be too long. Let's go to Romans, right? Like, we know the stuff that's going on, man. It's too late in the game to be backpedaling, right? We should be pushing forward. All right, just as the devil is working hard, right? Revelation 12 and 12, it says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. All right, he knows, hey, that his time is limited. All right, so he's putting in his work. What more should the men of Yahawah Bahasham do? Okay, and I'm speaking to those who know this ministry, right? Who are able-bodied and can teach and edify, right? You should be doing the work, man. You shouldn't be going days without, man. You shouldn't be not laboring, all right? Not feeding and edifying the sheep, okay? Let's go to the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse number 11. It says, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe, okay? Do you truly believe that we're at the end? If you did, guess what? That fear and reverence will be pushing you to do this work, man, constantly. All right, yeah, I know I got to do this for this, but I got to do this work first. I got to do the work of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi first. All right? So it says, in that knowing the time, right? And we can discern the time. We see what's going on, man. All right? Martial law is getting ready to, they're testing it out, and they're getting ready to implement this across major cities, all right, of where you Israelites dwell, all right? They're pushing this, okay? It says, in that knowing the time, it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness. All right, this unfruitful stuff, man. All right, you want to be, what does the scriptures tell you? Basically observe the ant, thou sluggard. All right, this is not the time to be sluggish and be procrastinating and let me go put my candle under the bed right now because I don't no, man. This is the time for your light to be shining. All right, the work to be pushed. Okay. Because it says the night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness and let's put on the armor of light. Okay? It says, let us walk honestly as in the day, and not in rioting and drunkenness, and not in chambering and wantonness, and not in strife and envying. It says, but put ye on the Lord, right? Yahawashi Hamashiach, and make no provisions for the flesh, right? You for far too long, you've been making provisions for the flesh, man. Well, I'm gonna do this later. Well, I gotta do this real quick. Well, instead of doing a lesson let me go do something up. No, man, you need to be laboring for the penny, man, for that day's wages now, while you have the opportunity. All right, before the Lord shuts down, this work. All right, and you won't be able to labor. And how do you expect to eat if you didn't work or labor? Okay, it says, but put ye on the Lord Yahawashi Hamashiach, and make no provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. All right, do the work, man. Right, labor for that penny. All right, so with that, right, I just want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, call Halal Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. Peace and blessings to the elect, the 12 tribes scattered abroad. A mighty shalom to the 144,000 men. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who have ruled well to the spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days. Another mighty shalom to the rest of the elect out there. Stay diligent, stay focused, keep praying for one another, right? And continue to labor for that penny, man, right? And don't, this is the time to work overtime. Continue to work, keep pushing, all right? Do the work until the time is up, because the night cometh when no man can work, all right? And with that, I say a ball, and shalom.